right-wingers are freaking out over Anheuser-Busch and Jack Daniels rallying behind the trans community and showing support. Um, it's hilarious how business owners can do whatever they want until it's something that right-wingers don't like, and then it becomes some kind of, woke conspiracy theory.
This week began with Anheuser-Busch, the makers of an alcoholic goat urine beverage they call a Bud Light, signing an endorsement deal with the woman-faced minstrel show performer Dylan Mulvaney. Now,
Wow, he's trying to shove like every single insult that he can into a short period of time to make himself feel better.
Conservatives, the ones who still somehow don't realize what time it is, refuse to believe that Bud Light would betray them like this after all those many gallons of the beer-like substance they consumed out of red plastic cups in their younger days, mostly before they were of legal drinking age. How could the company stab them in the back now after...
Wow, so treating people like people is a betrayal to people like Matt Walsh, because he sees it as, oh, you don't hate these people that I hate? That's that's an insult to me. That's an attack on me. That's betrayal. And to have that kind of mentality is just crazy.
For all of that. It must be some kind of April Fool's prank, they insisted. It can't be real. But then Anheuser-Busch confirmed in a statement that it was no joke at all. Of course it wasn't. They had indeed partnered with Mulvaney in an effort to, quote, authentically connect with the audiences across various demographics and passion points. So by teaming...
So, hey, let's expand our audience and make more money, because that's what capitalists like to do, make money. Except for, people like Matt Walsh, where the love of bigotry is greater than the love of money, which is kind of surprising at times. You never think that, greedy people would, give up making money only because it's, somebody that they don't like.
Coming up with the trans influencer, they had succeeded in connecting with any men in their customer base whose greatest passion point is dressing up like an adolescent girl and passing out tampons in the women's restroom.
Wow, he thinks Dylan Mulvaney looks like an adolescent girl when she obviously doesn't. That's some you're exposing yourself there, Matt Walsh.
Mulvaney is known to do. But that was only the beginning of the week. The wokeness parade was only getting started. On Wednesday, Mulvaney excitedly announced another major brand partnership, and this time it was Nike. Nike is also sponsoring Mulvaney, and in a series of posts, the male TikTok user modeled Nike leggings and a Nike sports bra. So if you're a woman shopping for leggings and sports bras and you want to know what the product might look like on the female body, like your body, unfortunately you're out of luck. But if, on the other hand, you want to know what they look like on a flat-chested man with the physique of a large tropical flightless bird, well then...
It sounds like he's just mad that Dylan is getting a bunch of sponsorships, and he's not. Dylan is raking in the dough.
Nike has you covered. But so far, we've covered only 2 days of the week. Corporate America has 7 days to cram as much wokeness in as they can, and as we've seen, they'll give it their best effort every single week. So also then this week, a Jack Daniels campaign went viral, a campaign which actually was first launched in 2021 called Small Town Big Pride. The company teamed up with drag queens from the show RuPaul's Drag Race to promote whiskey and drag queens. And actually, it appears that Jack Daniels produced an entire reality TV series that they released on their YouTube channel about drag queens called Summer Glamp. It sounds pretty gay, just based on the title and the description, but you have no idea just how gay it actually is. Here's a clip.
What's going on with this rain? This is not conducive for a pride party.
We got up in the morning and it was just pouring.
You can't rain on our parade? No. I'm so glad we're not in drag and heels and wigs right now.
Can you imagine in like the weather being so bad and just makeup and hair? Oh, that would be, that stretches at it. But listen, people, we have...
Yeah, it would definitely be stressful to have your wigs and clothing ruined by the rain and, you know, have to redo your makeup. I bet the founding fathers thought the same, you know, in the rain. Their wigs and makeup getting ruined because, you know, they wore makeup and wigs as well.
Have a party to plan and we need to go get some decorations and we need to get this going, honey. We're expecting people.
Let's go to the town square and get some party supplies.
I'm ready.
Oh my gosh, she looks so stunning and every single one of you are dressed to the nines.
This is going to be the fiercest party Lynchburg has ever seen. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride, sisters. Let's do a cocktail.
Let's do a cocktail.
I just love that Matt Walsh looks at this and just gets triggered and fumes because it's people having a good time.
We should make a Jack 5 cranberry.
Yes, we should.
Yeah, come on, I gotta help.
Cheers.
Happy Pride.
Ooh, that's some good music that they're playing.
We invited all of Lynchburg, so I wonder who's going to show up.
Well, let's see who shows up.
Our... Oh, good.
How y'all doing?
You know, Jack Daniel's whiskey was founded by a guy named Jasper Newton Daniel, nicknamed Jack, in the 1880s. And he first learned how to make moonshine whiskey from a local preacher in his town of Lynchburg. I can only imagine how that old Tennessee moonshiner must feel looking on from the grave and seeing what they've done to his beloved whiskey and his name.
Yeah, again, that's just Matt Walsh projecting his own feelings onto what some dead guy may or may not feel. And does that even matter at this point? Because it's not the dead guy that is running the business. It is the living CEO at the moment. And they want to support drag queens and trans people and stuff. That's their right. Man, it's funny. Right-wingers used to all be about, you know, businesses are people, you know, corporations are people. They can do whatever they want. And now that they're doing whatever they want, it's, oh, these businesses are quote-unquote woke. They're worshiping at the altar of quote-unquote wokeness and stuff, and it's like, these people are just truly insane.
It must feel like dying all over again. And yet, this was not the only drag queen corporate brand sponsorship to make the news this week. Build-A-Bear announced also, just in time for Easter, a new RuPaul drag bear. For the low price of $56, you can buy a stuffed bear dolled up in hideous makeup and a ridiculous wig, just like a real-life drag queen.
Well, that bear looks great. Matt Walsh is just jealous that he can't look as good.
Nike, Jack Daniels, Bud Light, Build-A-Bear, all in 1 week. Brands we can add to the list. Hershey's is another recent one, of course, of companies that have not simply gone woke. Okay, it's not just that, but have in fact adopted and promoted the most extreme tenets of left-wing orthodoxy. We're talking about companies that, we're not talking about companies that...
It's extreme left-wing orthodoxy to treat people like people and be nice and stuff. It's crazy how, like, the idea of respecting people is somehow radical for right-wingers. It just shows, like, the depravity of their own belief systems.
That simply issue shallow platitudes about diversity and inclusion or whatever. This is extreme, radical. Hiring a man to model your sports bra, putting out a video series with flamboyant homosexual drag queens vomiting rainbow colors all over the screen. This is not entry-level wokeness. These companies are not cautiously dipping their...
Entry-level wokeness? What does that even mean? Is there, like, entry-level wokeness? Mid-entry level wokeness? Do you got like executive level wokeness? Is there a CEO of wokeness? Like they just use words, you know, as a trigger, hoping, you know, knowing or hoping and knowing that their audience is primed to be mad at that, they just throw words around. That's why they got like the woke religion. They like to use wokesters and wokeism and wokest and whatever form of woke that they can use. It's because they know their audience is gonna get mad. Like, oh, that's woke. This is woke, and it's just everything's woke if right wingers don't like it.
Their toes into the progressive pool. They are diving headfirst into the deepest end. And they're doing it in spite of the fact that their customer base is, at best, not interested in this sort of thing. You know, at the end of that Jack Daniels clip, we see a burly old guy with a straw hat and overalls and a thick Tennessee accent showing up to a bar decorated with rainbow balloons.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hello, ladies." He was pretty actually. He seemed pretty fine to meet them, but Matt Walsh thinks, "Oh, I hate drag people, so this dude obviously hates drag people as well," and that's not the case. You do have people in the South that are against LGBTQ, and then you have people in the South that are totally fine with it, and you have some of them that are even a part of it.
To order whiskey from drag queens. Okay, that is not, to put it mildly, reflective of reality. Okay, that guy does look like a Jack Daniels drinker, and probably a Bud Light drinker too, if I had to guess. But I highly doubt that that he represents the typical audience for LGBT inclusion propaganda.
Yeah, people of the LGBTQ community looks like anybody and everybody. It's not just anybody that's just wearing rainbow pins and stuff like that. So it's the right wing belief that everybody that looks one way is in this community, and everybody looks a different way is in this other community, and that they can't overlap whatsoever.
Rather, he represents the audience alienated by such propaganda. So why are the brands doing this? What's the point? What's their game here? What's the play? Is there a play? Is there a strategy at all? Well, to answer that,
the strategy is to include more people so that the companies can make more money, because that's what these business people care about, is increasing their profits. And they know that the left wing will buy their products, and that the trans community is an audience that they can push into. It's not like trans people aren't already drinking beer. I honestly don't know if a lot of the business people actually support trans rights and stuff, but at the moment it looks like they do, and it's pissing off the right wing. So at the moment, that is pretty good.
We have to understand two things. And these are both very important, and they're both things that conservatives tend to miss. So first, the brands are not trying to appeal to their customers with this kind of stuff. So when we say...
Yeah, they are. They're trying to appeal to the trans community by having a trans spokesperson, by having drag queens as spokespeople. Jack Daniels is showing support for drag queens. Build-A-Bear, same thing. Hershey, same thing. Nike, same thing. They're trying to increase their audience and show some support.
This doesn't appeal to the customers. Well, it's not meant to. The goal is to make their customers or remake them. So if you're a Jack Daniels consumer,
Wow, they're trying to remake their customers. Wow. All these businesses are trying to convert people into transgenderism and make everybody gay or trans or whatever. Because that's how these people believe that, you can just be quote unquote converted. So, I mean, does that mean Matt Walsh believes that he could one day be converted to transgenderism? It's just their deluded reality is just crazy.
Probably have no interest in drag queens and gay pride. But the point is they want to make you interested in those things. You're not now, but they want you to be. Whose point is that, though? Whose agenda is this? Are the people in Jack?
Yeah, they want trans people and people of the LGBTQ community to be more interested in their products so that they buy more of it, which translates into the company making more money. It's like, yeah, that's what, businesses do. They look for ways to make more money.
Jack Daniels or Bud Light corporate offices, are they really passionate about spreading the LGBT gospel? Of course not. Are you like
Gospel? What gospel is he even talking about? What, being able to live? Okay, so we had to skip like a 2-minute ad. Here we go, we're back.
This is where you have to understand the second point. The left has taken away all of the neutral cultural ground. There is no neutral ground anymore. It doesn't exist. This is all by design. You're not allowed to be neutral, according to the left. And this is why brands like Bud Light and Nike and Jack Daniels and Build-A-Bear are giving endorsement deals to dudes in dresses and hosting reality TV summer camps for drag queens. In the past, a beer company...
No, they're doing it because they like trans people and they don't like, being bigoted towards trans people. I mean, if that's your issue, is, hey, these people aren't being bigoted enough, I don't like that, and that's just a you problem. It's not the business's problem.
Or a whiskey company or a shoe manufacturer, they could basically be culturally neutral. I mean, for all intents and purposes. If they did any virtue signaling, and companies have always done that, but they would have been...
Yeah, a lot of companies used to be, well, when United States was, a lot more right-leaning publicly, the businesses they would virtue signal about how good it was to be Christian, or how good, traditional lifestyle was, and how bad it was to be gay and all that. I mean, there are still businesses that do it now. Look at Chick-fil-A and stuff. But yeah, all businesses have been doing virtual signaling. But Matt Walsh and right-wingers are only mad at when businesses do it in favor of, supporting, left people and, human rights and stuff like that, because that is what they hate. They hate the LGBTQ community, so they hate when a business wants to support them and tries to claim that they're evil for it.
Signaling universal, or what used to be universal values, like patriotism and charity, and we're going to wave the American flag, and we're celebrating July 4th, and we're that sort of thing. But now the left has declared that you're either with them or against them. This is the silence is violence principle.
I mean, right-wingers do the same thing. If you're not a right-winger, then you're on the left. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. I mean, if you're not a left-winger, then you're a right-winger. So how is that like something nefarious?
And the left has ways of enforcing this principle. James Lindsay put out an important thread on Twitter explaining one of these ways. The far-left group called the Human Rights Campaign. They put out a report every year called the Corporate Equality Index. And corporations are given a score, which is meant to measure their fidelity to left-wing doctrines. If these companies do not...
Or to the idea that companies should be not be committing, human rights abuses and stuff like that. I mean, you can claim it's a left-wing doctrine, but, treating workers, how workers should be treated is, something our society needs.
Not go out of their way. Again, it's not good enough to just, not say anything. Or if they don't go out of their way to wave the pride flag and display their wokeness bona fides, they will be judged socially irresponsible, quote unquote, and they'll have points deducted.
No, that doesn't happen whatsoever.
You know, and you don't want, if you're a corporation, you don't want to have a low score with the Human Rights Campaign. The HRC is just one of many well-funded left.
Yeah, guys. Hey, it's not bad to have, a low human rights score. Violating people's human rights is no big deal to the right wing. It's how is like making sure a company isn't violating people's human rights a bad thing. It's crazy. Yet they always want to scream about, oh, don't infringe on my gun rights. Those are my rights. But they don't mind infringing on the rights of anybody else.
Left-wing advocacy groups whose sole purpose on this earth is to use these extortion techniques to extract ideological concessions from corporate America. There are many well-organized, well-funded, well-oiled machines that the left has at their disposal to do exactly this.
And the right wing has the same. Look at the NRA and how they fund various politicians to get various bills passed that favor them, and various other groups on the right. He acts like it's just the left that does this, and that's why the left is somehow bad.
Which leaves the brands with a choice. They can be baptized into wokeism and openly worship at the LGBT altar.
What does that even mean? Baptized into wokeism? Like, why are right-wingers so crazy when it comes to religion? It's just wild. And people like him want to claim that they're rational when they're some of the most irrational people because they're some of the most religious people.
Or they can, by default, align themselves with conservatives, thereby failing the social responsibility test. Okay? In other words, they can be left-wing or they can be right-wing. And again, if your answer is, well, why can't they be neither? I mean, why not just make the whiskey? Why do you? It's not an option. That option is not being left open to them. The left says you have to choose. If you're not with us, you are against us. If you are not.
Again, the right wing does the same thing. That's why they boycott businesses that don't support their views. And he's gonna call for a boycott in this video. Hey, boycott these businesses because they don't support our views.
Not openly left-wing, you are right-wing. So what are the corporations gonna do? The left will do everything in their power, and they have a lot of it, to make any corporation pay dearly for disloyalty. Piss off the right, on the other hand, and you'll have to deal with some angry tweets.
Right, because the right wing doesn't boycott businesses and try to make businesses they consider left wing to pay. Look at DeSantis in the Disney district because they wanted to support the trans community. DeSantis took away the original board and put in his own people as punishment for being quote unquote woke or, supporting human rights.
And that's it. Nothing else will happen. So it's an easy choice for them. Go woke, go broke, we like to say. We like to say that to ourselves. It's kind of a psychological coping mechanism on the right. Go woke, go broke.
I'm glad he's aware of that because, yeah, businesses don't go broke because they go quote-unquote woke.
We repeat it as a mantra in the mirror while we're doing our daily affirmations. We whisper it while we rock ourselves to sleep at night. It's a comforting thought. But like most comforting thoughts, it's not true. Because companies go woke all the time. Almost all of them have. And guess what? None of them have gone broke because of it.
Yeah, look at Nike and their support of, police reform and Black Lives Matter. They didn't go broke. But when Kanye started being anti-Semitic and these businesses started pulling away from him, he started losing a good bit of money. So maybe it's, go racist, go broke.
So go woke, go broke, at least on the corporate level, that's never happened. Go woke, go broke really means, in practice, go woke and then continue along the same as you did before, suffering no consequences whatsoever.
Yeah, go quote unquote woke or support the rights of people in your community and suffer no consequences, which for people like Matt Walsh, that's bad because they don't like other people having rights and their human rights protected or supported.
The consequences are ultimately suffered by us because the corporate wokeness has the desired effect. It normalizes radical left-wing ideology.
It's funny. Corporate wokeness, you got religious wokeness, you got street wokeness. What is there, like dream wokeness? Is food well, I guess food now is woke since beer is woke. It's like, what isn't woke to these people? If we tell them that the air is woke, will they stop breathing air?
Commercializes it, which is the same thing as normalizing it, and it gradually makes it seem less radical and less left-wing to most people, even many on the right who ostensibly oppose the wokeness. This is why they do it, and it works. See, many of us still will see advertisements as merely reflecting the culture, right? That's why we're so surprised when we see Jack Daniels turn into Jacqueline Daniela.
Nope. Nobody is surprised, but bigots like you.
Doesn't reflect the Jack Daniels customer base, we shout indignantly. But it's not meant to reflect. It's meant to shape. Again, they don't want to represent your values. They want to make your values. The brands don't reflect us. We reflect the brands in consumerist America. So what can we do about this? Well, there's a lot we need to do and can do, but let's stay focused on this specific issue of corporate wokeness and one specific thing we can do. The first is we have to realize and accept that we are right now in the position of insurgents. The left won the culture a long time ago. That's already done. So we are culturally, in effect, guerrilla fighters stationed in a camp out in the forest. We're not going to win.
No, you guys are not guerrilla fighters in a forest fighting a battle against wokeness and stuff. That's just crazy, paranoid, delusional thinking right there.
In a pitched battle against the entire system all at once. We're not going to take on all of corporate America and bring it to its knees. It's already on its knees, but for a different reason and not for us. So here's what we can do.
They're already on their knees, but for a different reason and not for us. They're not bowing down to us, and that's the problem.
Take a page from the left's old playbook, which is really just the playbook of cultural insurgency. And what we do is we pick one target, one victim. You know, every brand is woke. Every brand is kicking us in the shins and spitting in our faces. They all hate us.
Wow, every brand is woke now? Like, every single brand? Okay. But anyways.
So we can throw up our hands and do nothing, which is surrender, or we could try to boycott them all at the same time, which is futile and doomed to failure, or we can pick one, just one, and target it with a ruthless boycott campaign. Okay, you just pick one.
I thought he was against the use of, like, forcing businesses to do stuff. He was against, the left using their, influence on corporations to make them become quote-unquote woke. But now he wants to do the same thing. It's like, and very hypocritical of you, Matt Walsh. But hey, you are a right-winger.
And then you're going to have conservatives say, well, what about this one? What about that one? I mean, why are you boycotting this one, that, and that? They're also woke too. Well, because we're trying to do something here. It's called a strategy. Can you be strategic in your thinking for once in your life?
Yeah, this is funny. He's calling his own audience stupid.
Target one, refuse to buy their products. Drag the company's name through the mud. Make them anathema to the tens of millions of conservatives who still live in this country and whose financial support these companies still need in order to survive.
They probably don't really need that much of the right wing in order to survive. The left wing group is actually a lot larger in the United States.
Be smart and strategic in the targets. Start with companies who have a high percentage of red state conservative customers, so not Nike, and companies that would be relatively easy to boycott, so not Disney, and companies who likely
Just start, buying products from right-wing business people like Mike Lindell, or you can get on Trump's social platform, and give him money. There are a number of right-wing businesses that these people can go to. It's just they never really do well because there's not a whole lot of right-wingers that want to actually use these sites or these businesses, besides maybe like Chick-fil-A.
we have a high percentage of employees who would be on our side and are going to give pressure from the inside. So probably not, something like Hershey's. But you also need one that's big enough to send a message. So actually, Jack Daniels might be the perfect candidate for this. Whoever it is, you make an example.
No, Jack Daniels is not going to be worried about a small group of the population not buying from them when they make billions of dollars, and they will continue to make billions of dollars because they make some pretty good booze.
Example out of someone. Okay? You claim a scalp. Force them to come crawling back to us and apologize. Just like the corporations have been doing for the left for decades.
Well, let's force these businesses to come apologize. Yeah, you're gonna see all these business owners come groveling to Matt Walsh. Oh, Matt Walsh, we're so sorry. We didn't mean to go quote-unquote woke. We'll become bigots again and start hating people like you do.
They never, ever do that for us. Okay, they never denounce anything on our behalf. They never apologize to us. It never happens.
Well, these businesses never, denounce things. What? The only things that, right-wingers denounce is, the support of human rights. So, what? Do you expect these businesses to be like, yeah, hey guys, we hate black people, we hate trans people, we hate the LGBTQ community, we don't support them, existing. Like, yeah, that's not going to happen. And it's funny how he's whining about this. Oh, whine, whine, whine. These businesses don't grovel to us.
Because we never really try to force them to. But we can. It can be done. It is achievable. We can exert influence on the culture in this way. We can stand up for ourselves and show that if you insult and disrespect us, we will punch back. We can move the needle. We can extract concessions of our own. The strategy.
If you insult and attack us, so supporting trans rights is an insult and attack on Matt Walsh. That is like typical of right-wingers. Anytime a group of people is looking for rights or having their rights protected, right-wingers think it's an attack on them, a personal attack, when it's not, because they honestly don't understand how rights actually work.
It does work. I know it works because the left has been doing it forever. Also, I know it works because we've done it. That's what I did with Vanderbilt. Pick a hospital in a state where I know we have influence and cultural power, single them out, focus on them, direct attention and scrutiny at them specifically, even though Vanderbilt was far from the only hospital mutilating kids.
So yeah, his plan is target a group of people, make up a bunch of lies, and hope that they cave because the right wing herd will get mad and start, making threats and stuff towards the target, which the right wing loves to do, send out, death threats and stuff like that, like they're doing with Alvin Briggs.
But make them the special project, and they collapsed under the pressure. They shut down their mutilation program. Then the whole thing was made illegal statewide. So it works.
It's funny how right-wingers consider gender-affirming care to be mutilation while never considering circumcision to be mutilation. And 20% of men regret that, compared to like a 0.1 or 2% of trans people regretting their surgery, which is typically due to still being rejected by their community on a lack of support.
And we can scale this up to target brands and corporations. We just need focus and strategic intelligence to do it. And we need a little bit of ruthlessness. That's what it takes to win.
Yeah, guys, you just need to be mean and evil, because that's what it takes to win against people just looking to exist.
To win piece by piece, one skirmish at a time. We can do it, or we can do nothing and keep whining impotently about problems we don't have the stomach or attention span to address.
Yeah, that's all you're going to do, Matt Walsh, is whine, whine, whine. I'm ending this video here. He's probably not going to really say too much more. If you enjoy the content, give a thumbs up, share, subscribe. It helps me out. Peace.